Good afternoon all, thanks for stopping by. Today's video, or this week's video, is going to be just a simple modification to the Pajero. I just started shooting a video this weekend putting a 12 volt water pump into the caravan. It didn't quite turn out quite as well as I wanted to. The pump that I've got, one of those cheap and cheery Chinese pumps, turns out to be hella noisy, so really noisy. Vibration is horrendous. And I do have another one that I've got that's going to become part of the 12 volt shower system, the hot water system that I've got, the red track, which I'll be an install video on later on. But I've tested both of those pumps and they are as noisy as all get out. Put that on the back burner. I will have that set up to go away for the weekend in a few weeks, but I'll show you the install video of that once we get a better pump and we get that all together. For today, what I'm looking at doing is improving my storage here in the back of the Pajero. We've got the fridge here, which takes up a lot of space. I don't know anything about a Pajero. They've got this floor space in here, which is where our auxiliary battery is, tools, compressor. But for now, I've got these poles which come off the Foxwing awning. They're fairly long. I've got your normal fold-out chair that everybody carries along. And I must admit, I was used to the Delica and the space. What I've done, I ducked out and grabbed some of these Grunt aluminium tracks, or aluminium O tracks that you see here. Now these are movable, so you can literally just do a one-hand job. What you do to get these out is you just grab here either side, lift up, and they will slide along and come out. So as long as you line it up with one of those, push it in, those 2 feet will pop in like that, and then she's locked and she's secure. About 30 centimeters long, so they're a foot long, or 12 inches long. And with those pieces out, you can see there's 3 holes on the bottom. They're flat on the back side. 3 holes countersunk, and it does come with some screws and bolts and the like there. Now the plan here, looking at mounting the track up here, and I'm going to put one there as well. So I bought 2 as a test, and if this works out, we're going to put them on the other side as well. Because this area back here doesn't have any seats, and it's just used as storage space or a mess space, there's no need for me to have the grab handles and stuff up here. So the idea is pop these up here, one here, and then use some bungee cords, tie our poles up here, and on the other side possibly the seat. Anything else I want to put up here that's relatively lightweight but bulky. There's some things we need to figure out. So these are fairly easy. There's just a little clip on one side, just put it in, lever her out, and then you've just got obviously a bolt going through both of those. Alright, so one of the challenges we've got here is that obviously the holes aren't going to line up with where we want to put these here. That's no concern, easy enough to pop a couple of holes in there. But as you can see, that sits out from the mounting points, and if we try and put some bolts in there and then tighten those up, you'll see it's going to push on the head lining, and we don't want to damage the lining here because this actually bulges out here a little bit, and this section is recessed, as you can see. Let's come up with some sort of way of putting a spacer behind there to bring these out a little bit. So happy to report that the bolts that have come out of here are an M5, so 5mm bolt. I've got plenty of M5s out in the shed, my more favourite size bolts. Plenty of those out in the shed. All we need to do is find out how we build the spacer, and we're away. Okay, so I did go and cut some timber that I had sitting in the shed. Luckily enough, I had this as one piece. It was all. I went in and cut it as close as I could to half. You can see it was only just a little bit shy either end. And then I've gone to put it up and realised I'm a dickhead, and that this section doesn't need to go the full length. What I've got to do is just quickly head back to the shed. I've sort of marked a length thereabouts, so that'll sit in nice and flush. And we've cut our pieces of timber down, and that's looking pretty close enough to take that aluminium back to the panel itself without applying any pressure, and that looks a lot better like that, I think, rather than having it sit out proud with big blocks of wood, which I'd looked at earlier. Okay, so there's a little spacer mounted up. Now we'll replicate that on the other plate, and then we'll take this over to the aluminium track and pop some matching holes in that. Now most of this stuff is going to get measured up by hand, and what I was looking to do was obviously centre this in the middle of the track. But what I've actually noticed when I flipped it over to use the holes on the back of the track, not been drilled centre. So you can see there's probably, you know, nearly 1.5 inches or something there, and then this one's barely 1/2 inch or something. So anyway, pain in the bum, we'll just eyeball it, drill some holes, and see how we go. Okay, and that's one up, and you might notice that there's a little bit skew-if. My drilling expertise was a little bit lacking on this back screw. You can see I went really high on that one. But just grab our rings, push them in, lock them in. There we go. They don't vibrate too much, but it doesn't look like they will. I'm pretty happy with that. In addition to obviously being able to put stuff up along the roof, anytime I'm going to put something in the back, I can use these as tie-out points to help it stand upright and stuff like that. So with these on all 4 grab handles, because based on the outcome of that one, I'm going to go and grab 2 more of these. Now a pack of these is only 20 bucks, so certainly it's cheaper than I've seen anywhere else. So the Grunt stuff, as far as some of this railing and aluminium bracketry, nice and cheap there at Bunnings. So for 20 bucks, well worth grabbing a set. And there we go. That's roughly what I've been talking about. So there's our foxwing stuff up there. I'm just using obviously the bungee straps up there for the time being. What am I? I'm going to call that a success. It's not quite as pretty as it probably could be, but that's going to get all these things up off the ground. They are going to move around a little bit, but I'm not too unhappy with that. I'm only going to put lightweight things up here, like the windscreen cover and a few different other items, just to get them up off the ground and give me back some floor space. And this is how it'll pretty much stay when there's nothing going to be held up there, just with a couple of bungee straps, as you can see there. And there's just our regular camp chair that's hung up there as well. Probably need to come up with a better idea than these bungees. There's a bit of a pain in the bum to wrap around to get the right amount of tension. So either those shorter rubber straps that you'll see at Bunnings, they're like a bungee effectively, except they're a rubber strap. They're a bit shorter, might be easier to get tension on them. Or go with some reusable cable ties, some large thickness reusable cable ties, so I can put around there, tighten her up, and then just click them to release them, and that should work there as well. I think you can get those in like a metal, so I might have a look at those, but I think they might be the go. Okay, and there we go. So up there we've got our poles for our foxwing awning, we've got a camp chair, and we've also got one of those windscreen shades there as well. So all in all, we'll probably knock that off in probably half an hour, you know, including cutting the timber, you know, drilling, stuff like that. It's a real easy project, because this is the space behind the seats. This is where the chair and the poles used to live, you see. But that now gives me that space back. And here we are from the passenger side rear door. That's what she looks like from over here. And it's just raining, so we'll make this quick. That's what it looks like from the back. You can see that's up on the driver's side, and it's up and out of the way. We can give it a shake. It should remain fairly solid, shouldn't fall down, but we'll report back if it does. And let's face it, doing this sort of stuff is fun, but the fun is disappearing. We've got all the windows up because it's raining and storming outside, and it's starting to get foggy and hot in here. So that's the end of this one, guys. Thanks very much. I'm getting the hell out of this car, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.